Hello again. This is Ray. This is the Potato Heads podcast. I'm here with Sherry Goodman Graham from Arkansas, nutritionist, plant-based lifestyle coach. How are you, Sherry?
Hi, Ray. I'm great. Thanks. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. So,
Good.
yeah, it's been most of the year we didn't do any podcasts. We get these going again, and really, I think maybe exercise might be a good one to talk about. Going into the holidays when everything is all about food, people need to be aware to keep moving and maybe ease up on the food and hit the exercise a little bit harder. What do you think?
I just think you should, yes, definitely. Don't stray away from your routine. It's easier said than done because we find excuses. We have to shop. We have to take care of this person. We have to pick this person up from the airport. We got to set the table. We have to go shop. So many things are going on, and it's so important to still take care of ourselves. And staying active is really good for your mental health. Takes away some of the anxiety and the emotions that go wrapped around the holidays. And so continuing to exercise definitely. It's not easy at this time of the year, but trying to focus on it is really, I think, helpful to make your holidays a little bit smoother emotionally.
Yep. And families on Thanksgiving could go for a good long walk together beforehand, a beautiful bonding, get a little
Mhm.
exercise. Some people play touch football or kick a soccer ball around if the weather's nice. But yeah, it's a shame that so many of these holidays have become so much about food. Thanksgiving should be about being thankful, and being thankful about having good health would be a good one. I'm thankful that I'm not stuffing a 27-pound turkey. This is my eighth year where I won't be cooking turkey. And, if you have a regular plant-based meal, there's nothing to say you shouldn't be able to go out for a good walk or exercise during that day instead of being cooking and peeling all day long and prepping. The Thanksgiving prep of a regular American Thanksgiving meal starts the day before. People are working all day long, and then all the doing of the dishes and all the leftovers and things where, maybe a nice little vegetarian meal might be nice.
Yeah. You have to bring your own food, right? You have to bring your
Yeah.
own food.
Yes.
Depending on if it's an all plant-based family or friends, but taking your own meals, that's a good topic to talk about too. Not only keeping your exercise routine, which is so important. I just want to talk a little bit about that because I'm always about the food as a dietitian, but I also want to make sure that I'm emphasizing how important it is to stay active as we age, and especially to keep our bodies moving is the most important. That keeps us from aging. That keeps us from, being in the wheelchair or having to use a walker or having really serious issues down the road. At this age is important to stay active. The food is really important too, don't get me wrong, but staying active, whether, like you said, going for a walk, riding your bike, the weather's changing. You've got to find ways to stay active even during the cold days, whether it's joining a gym or riding your treadmill in the house or a Peloton. I've been riding my Peloton and I just, it just becomes a habit. There's days that I don't want to ride it. Of course, I'm not perfect. Like, I don't want to misrepresent anybody to think that I don't have days where I don't really want to ride my Peloton bike, but I know that I feel so much better afterwards. And I love tapping into, like, why would I make all those excuses and come up with mind games about not exercising when we all know how good we feel afterwards, right? It's such a rush.
Sherry, I think when we first started talking a few years ago, you didn't have an exercise bike, right? You were doing mostly yoga and outdoor stuff. But how long have you had your exercise bike now?
I've had it probably almost a year.
Yeah, yeah.
It makes it easy for me. I love the
Yeah.
Peloton.
Oh,
It
yeah.
also has other exercise classes and it's in the house. So I was focusing on really increasing my cardiovascular while I do yoga for flexibility, and it also builds muscles. And I do lift light weights, but the
Yeah.
Peloton has helped me the most with my cardiovascular. So then when I do other activities like hiking, I have much more strength in my lungs and my
Yeah.
breath. And same, it's
Yeah.
improved my yoga, I
Yeah.
think, too. So I mean, there's so much to be said about lifting weights in terms of building muscle to avoid osteoporosis. I think it's really important. And I think if you had just one exercise you needed to do and choose from, I would definitely think it would be lifting weights because you can lift weights at a pace that you can also build your cardiovascular. And so you're getting cardiovascular and muscle strength. And not only do you gain strength, but it also helps you to put calcium back into your blood and also helps you balance your pH so that you don't have too much acidic in your body, keeps your blood sugar. With my diabetes clients, it's really important to lift weights and build muscle. It helps with balance your blood sugar. And so there's so many benefits to lifting weights. It doesn't have to be super heavy. I don't want you to hurt your back or anything like that, of course, but staying active and having an exercise plan is important as your food. And it just a little bit of exercise, a little bit of good eating, a little bit of good sleeping. It's just all kind of goes together, it's not separated.
Yeah. And with me, I think with I think I have 10-pound dumbbells and 15-pound dumbbells. It's not like you have to have 50-pound weights. You don't need a lot of weight. And it's also important to vary. Maybe you're doing squats one day and you're doing arms a different, you don't do the same thing every day. You don't really do the same weightlifting routine 5 days or 7 days a week. You want to alternate and get in that cardio. You can do that cardio every day. And I think the thing that's so nice about the bike versus, running, a lot of people run on the road and it's not so good on your joints, your knees and your hips and your ankles. Whereas the bicycle, it's really, you don't have that kind of strain on your joints and it's very good cardio.
And
So
same with swimming too, when you think about it, and,
swimming's
and
good.
doing your own body weight, doing, your own push-ups, your setups, swimming, anything just to stay active, find your passion, find what you enjoy. So it's not something that you dread. Walking is still really good. I'm just thinking about the weather changing. Of course, we're going into the colder weather, but some of my clients walk the shopping malls, have a treadmill in the house. Walking's their favorite exercise, and then lifting weights in the house or finding videos. There's so many options. Just staying motivated is the hardest part. I know it's easier said than done, but just really focusing on trying to do a little bit of activity, eat a healthy whole food plant-based diet, get a good night's rest. You're gonna just feel better, and the food is so important to helping you have the energy to lift weights or to exercise, and not being, jacked up on sugar helps you sleep better too.
And then you combine that with your yoga. How many days a week might you do yoga?
I do yoga 3 days a week. I teach
Ah,
2 days, and then I also do my own routine. And sometimes just to stretch, I put my mat out because I think the flexibility and the stretching is what keeps us from not looking older, like
yeah,
hunched
yeah,
over and
yeah,
can't straighten up. And, you can tell somebody's age by the way they walk.
sure, sure. Wow.
We don't want to
Well,
be like that. We want to
and
stay lubricated.
of
We want to
course,
stay flexible.
these are tough weeks, with the holidays, with all the things going on. It's tough, but it's a must because you don't want to wait till January 1st and then start New Year's resolutions when you've just gained 20 pounds.
No, and
Uh,
you want to stay healthy during the holidays. You need that emotional sanity to get along with your friends and family, and all the craziness that starts to go on around this time is the best thing for you during this time is to stay to your health plan so that you can get through the holidays with sanity and not feel crazier that, sugar and alcohol make you crazy.
And in the exercise thing, if you're starting with someone who hasn't been exercising, you can't go full bore. My oldest brother always makes me laugh out in California because he would do these boot camps. Well, he was not a young guy, and they're doing these very, very intense. I said, Joe, you gotta build up to it.
Yeah,
Take it easy. And that's what I've always found on the bicycle. When you go out for the first time in the spring, and maybe you hesitate. Well, I haven't been riding on the road, but the reality is go out for even 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then build up. And before you know it, you're riding for an hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours.
that's
But
how I did on my Peloton,
yeah, it
Ray. It's
takes
like, I
time.
started out on the Peloton, I just was starting in a beginner level and I saw myself get stronger and stronger. And
Yeah,
so it's kind of fun to challenge yourself that way. You're right. And
yeah,
you can even sit down in the chair and and lift weights. There's
yeah,
chair yoga. Everybody's at a different level. It's just
yeah,
staying active. And you know when you're active and when you're not active.
sure.
So if you need to just step it up a couple of days a week, I don't work out that hard anymore. I don't, I don't want to hurt myself, and I just want to stay flexible and active. And when you're not doing exercise to lose weight and pounding it out because you've eaten too much,
Yeah.
then that becomes a torture. And so eating a whole food plant-based diet and eating less than more and just being aware, conscious of what you're putting into your body and then how you move it. It's a lot easier to move your body when you have less body fat. You feel the fluidity, exercise becomes easier. So I always say start with the food, start getting that aligned. That's really the key to making change. And then the exercise is good for your mind and it tones your body and you just feel good. When you feel good, then you want to eat good. So it's like it reinforces each other.
Yeah. I'm not sure which one of the doctors said this line, but I kind of think it was Dr. Greger, but one of them said that you can't outrun your fork, you know, because people think, well, if I walk the track 2 miles, then I can go have a nice Dunkin' Donut glazed donut. Well, you can't. You're just beating yourself when you do that. So get your exercise, eat healthy, and then things will happen for you, right?
So did you have a good Thanksgiving? Did you avoid the sugar and the pies and the cakes and all of that?
Yeah, I had a great one. I went to my next door neighbor's house. They've got two little kids over there. They eat healthy, and I brought some of my own vegetables. And I brought them some nice cream. I make nice cream with frozen bananas, blueberries, mango, a little cacao, a little of my peanut butter in there. So the kids even like the nice cream versus chocolate chip or Oreo ice cream or something. So they eat very
Wait,
healthy.
tell everybody how you make that. You make that in the blender for those that
Yeah,
don't know
so
what
I
nice cream
never,
is.
yeah, I never throw out bananas as they're getting overripe. I cut them into chunks and I freeze them. And then when I'm ready, I keep some frozen fruit in my freezer. So I've always got blueberries, strawberries, mango, maybe some pineapple, and then my frozen bananas. So the frozen bananas replace the cream in the ice cream. And it's really a great soft ice cream when you first make it. And after you freeze it, you have to thaw it a little bit. And then usually when I do eat it, I'll put some blueberries or strawberries on top of it. But there's no whipped cream or no chocolate sauce on there. But it certainly is good for your craving of any ice cream.
Yeah.
I used to love ice cream, but I try to stay away
I'm
from it.
so glad that those children like what you bring over, the nice ice
Oh
cream.
yeah.
That's such a better choice. I love it.
And
So
sometimes
healthy.
if you don't tell them, you just surprise them. You don't have to tell them it's not real ice cream or whatever. But these kids are healthy anyway. But I've given away a lot of times if I go somewhere for dinner, I'll bring some of my nice cream or I'll bring them some of my homemade peanut butter. And then I'll bring some sweet potatoes or a nice salad. And just to make sure that if you go somewhere on the holiday, you have something to eat if they are eating turkey and gravy and stuffing and all that other stuff.
Yeah, good job. I'll share a funny story I think is kind of cute. It was one of my clients, well, several of my clients went out for Thanksgiving and they go to eat Chinese food because they're open on Thanksgiving Day. So my client said she, made the best choice and told them, no oil, and they understood it. And so they brought takeout to the house, and she said she still saw oil. She could see it. It wasn't a lot of oil, but enough oil. She said she put it in the colander, the eggplant that had a lot of stuff on it, and she put the green beans and she rinsed it. And she said the oil was just coming out through it, but there was enough soaked in
Wow.
there that it gave it flavor. And then she reheated it in a pan and put it over the rice. And she said it was absolutely delicious. And I thought that's such a
Wow.
great tip because Thai food or Chinese food or any of those foods that we love, that are kind of oily, even though we say no oil, sometimes it's not hard. If you take it out when you come home, what a great idea to kind of rinse it off and then reheat it and eat it. And it still has enough of that delicious garlic flavor. So that was cute. I was like, oh, that's wonderful. I'll have to pass that on.
The big thing is the cleanup when you're eating. I mean, most of my vegetables I steam them. I might do my sweet potatoes on the grill, but the cleanup versus a regular Thanksgiving feast where you work for 24 hours prepping something and it seems like 5 hours cleaning up afterwards. To me, it's just another day. It's another healthy day, and that's what I'm thankful for. You know.
So what exercise are you doing these days? Lifting weights? Are you riding your bike?
Well, I think I mentioned to you I have this hernia that I've been a little nervous on the bike, but I'm going to have that fixed soon, and I hope to be back on the bike in the first of the year. So
Oh, good.
I,
That's
I,
great
I
to know.
walk. I walk mostly right now. Yeah, yeah,
Great.
walk the dogs and walk myself. Yeah.
Good.
Sometimes we don't know who's walking who, whether we're walking the dogs or they're walking us.
That's the
You-
best thing about dogs, right? They really keep us active. I love that. Walking the dogs is great exercise.
Yeah. 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 So, all right, Sherry, great to see you. And
You
we'll talk
too,
again soon.
Ray.
I'll put the link to your website in there,
Thank you.
sherrygoodmangraham.com. And reach out to Sherry. She's on Facebook. She's on the YouTube podcast, and she's certainly got her website. Uh,
Thank you, Ray.
great. All right.
I'll
Talk
see you
soon.
next time. Let's get together again soon.
All righty. Bye bye now. Yeah.
Bye. Hey, I hope you